His murder trial has been told there's no evidence to prove his missing wife is dead. But a former police detective today testified there's nothing to prove Lynette Dawson is alive either. Retired Sergeant Damien Loon told the court there were no government records pointing to Lynette's existence after 1982. However, he admitted to not taking statements from witnesses who claimed to have seen her. Victoria has recorded its first case of measles in more than 2 years. A woman in her 30s who recently returned from overseas has been diagnosed with the highly infectious viral disease. She developed symptoms on 12 June while visiting New South Wales. As a precaution, 4 public exposure sites in Victoria and New South Wales have been listed. They include Culkin Ampol Station and the Astor Hotel in Albury. In Victoria, the Justin Lane restaurant in Geelong and DFO South Wharf in Melbourne have also been listed. Anyone who attended the sites are directed to seek medical attention if they develop symptoms. New Omicron subvariants BA4 and BA5 are taking over New South Wales as the most dominant strains of the coronavirus. A new report by New South Wales Health has described the new BA5 strain particularly as stickier than its predecessors due to its effect on human lung cells. Experts fear the latest subvariants may be resistant to vaccines and urge those who are at a higher risk of contracting COVID to get their 3rd or 4th dose if recommended as a matter of urgency. Sky News journalists are among 121 more Australians blacklisted indefinitely by Russia. Sky host Andrew Bolt and Sky political reporter Jonathan Lee join other Australian journalists, prominent media and business executives and government officials. Andrew Bolt, who also writes a popular column for the Herald Sun in Melbourne, called for the Russian leader to be assassinated by one of his rivals over his illegal invasion of Ukraine and subsequent war crimes and atrocities. News Corp co-chairman Lachlan Murdoch and the editor-in-chief of the company's flagship newspaper, The Australian, Christopher Dorr, his political editor Simon Benson, and editor-at-large Paul Kelly are also on the Russian Foreign Ministry list. Nine CEO Mike Sneesby and Nine Chairman and Future Fund Chairman Peter Costello, as well as the editors of the Sydney Morning Herald and the Age newspapers, join them. Mining billionaires Gina Rinehart and Andrew Forrest and South Australian Premier Peter Malinauskas are mentioned as well. Mr Malinauskas says he is proud of his role in standing up for democracy.
Well, I'm very grateful for the fact that Vladimir Putin has paid attention to the leading role that South Australia is playing in trying to stand up for the democratic values that we all collectively as a country hold dear.
Moscow claims they've all promoted a Russia-phobic agenda. Journalists in the United Kingdom were sanctioned earlier this week. Russia first announced entry bans on Australian leaders in April after Canberra imposed sanctions over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Mining magnate Gina Rinehart is calling on Australia to ramp up its defences against foreign threats. The millionaire is suggesting the government deploys drones and sea mines in Australia's northwest for further protection. She says we urgently need millions of smart mines in our thousands of kilometres of otherwise indefensible oceans. According to Ms Rinehart, the nation should be the government's first responsibility. She's one of the Australians to recently be sanctioned by Russia. Coming up on Newsnight, experts suggest changes to give our faces the same copyright protection as art and music.
Sky News will be back after this short break.